Welcome to the Ellis Martin Report in Money Talk Radio. I'm Ellis Martin, and today I'm pleased to be joined by Zach Maurer of Prairie Lithium, trading on the ASX as PL9 and in the US on the OTC as PLIXF, an Australian lithium brine developer advancing a major project in Saskatchewan, Canada. Prairie Lithium is focused on unlocking large-scale lithium resources through Direct Lithium Extraction, or DLE, an innovative technology designed to efficiently separate lithium from subsurface brines while minimizing environmental impact. Zach Maurer, founder of Prairie Lithium, adds deep hydrogeologic and energy sector expertise. Welcome to the Ellis Martin Report.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Alice. Great to be back.
You've got some fantastic news I just read on your website, prairielithium.com. You've arranged for an offtake agreement with a firm right out of South Korea called Hydro Lithium. They're going to be taking all of your offtake from your project in Saskatchewan.
Yeah, that's correct. A really exciting transaction for us to get announced in terms of where our initial product production will be going. And obviously, Asia's a big downstream market for processing battery-grade lithium materials. So, really happy to partner with a group in Asia, and particularly in South Korea, and happy to expand on that here over the duration of this call.
Well, you're starting out with 150 tons per annum of lithium crystal, and you are going to be hedging that up to 10,000 tons per annum.
Yeah, we'll be going into initial production at 150 tons per annum, and then we have the ability to scale up this offtake to a total of 10,000 tons per annum of production. The big takeaway on this objective is it really boils down to four main reasons as to why it's important. And number one, it establishes our supply chain. So as we know, in North America, there's not a very mature battery material supply chain as to where we can sell lithium into, as a lot of this downstream capacity is still being built out in North America, but already exists in South Korea and parts of Asia. So the number one important thing is this establishes our supply chains as to where our product will go. And then a couple other main takeaways that we can dissect is there's a lot of efficiencies to our CapEx and OpEx by producing the product that we're going to produce and sell to Hydro Lithium, which then in turn reduces the complexity of our operations. And also having the offtake in place starts to enable different funding mechanisms that we can start to look at, whether it be with a private party or a government fund that's set up.
How soon will that offtake be in play?
We are still subject to financing to get into production, but this offtake is obviously a big piece of being able to secure the remaining financing that's required for full production. Assuming financing, will be in production by the end of 2026 and feeding into this offtake.
Now, you're the only permitted lithium brine facility of its kind in Canada.
Yeah, that's correct. We are the only lithium brine project in Canada that is permitted to establish production. And that's a direct result of just executing a very strategic plan over the last number of years in terms of how we build our facilities, where we build our facilities, how we drill our wells, the rates we're going to produce, the size of the facilities, our flow sheet. We've built the project using the existing regulatory framework from the potash industry here in Saskatchewan, from the oil and gas industry here in Saskatchewan, so that we're not doing anything that's overly unique in the province, which has helped us expedite the permitting process and ultimately stand out as the only lithium brine project in Canada that's permitted to establish production. And now obviously having this offtake in place, we know where that production is going to end up.
I've always said for years now that all the deals should be done with the end users, and they exist in Japan and South Korea, that whole region, and you've done it. But you're in Saskatchewan. How do you get these crystals down to South Korea?
So fortunately, again, Saskatchewan is a very robust exporting industry in terms of we export a lot of potash and grain products out of Saskatchewan on our rail. So the logistics systems are already set up to move product out to the coast and over the ocean. Now, fortunately, lithium, it's what I call a very financially dense product. And what I mean by that is our tonnages are still relatively small in terms of the value that they can bring in. When you compare it against potash that trades at a couple $100 a ton, I'm not sure what the exact price is trading at today, in comparison to lithium, which trades at tens of thousands of dollars per ton, means that we need to move a lot less product in terms of tonnage to get the same revenues and financial value. So logistics and rail, trucks and boats won't be a choking point for our project. The logistics systems and network is already set up across North America and particularly Western Canada to be able to get our product out to the coast and on a cargo ship over to South Korea.
From what I understand, most feedstock has to be refined in China because there's just no refining facilities in North America, either in Canada or in the US. You're avoiding all that and you're shipping it all to South Korea.
Yeah, that's correct. China dominates the downstream processing capacity for battery-grade lithium chemicals, and we were fortunate to be invited on a Canadian government federal critical mineral trade mission over to Japan and South Korea in August. Our managing director, Paul Lloyd, and I, we went over and we had a lot of great conversations with potential off-takers in Japan and in South Korea. And fortunately, we're able to progress one of those conversations to an offtake here with Hydro Lithium. Hydro Lithium was a party that was not known to us really prior to the summer, but they have an operational lithium refinery in South Korea. It has capacity where they can accept feedstock and produce a battery-grade product, and then they have their offtakes on the backside of their refinery. So a really unique opportunity to find a refinery that's actively looking for new feedstock from North America, and for us to be able to fill that gap and be able to provide them the feedstock that they need to refine the battery-grade lithium chemicals in South Korea.
Are they actively looking for acquisitions too? Because if I were a company like them, I'd be thinking about vertical integration. Is that part of their business model? Is it part of yours? What are you saying to shareholders about opportunity down the road?
I won't speak to their business plans or their business model, but I can say that as a refining company positioned in South Korea, where they are fairly reliant on Chinese feedstock for their refinery, they were actively looking for projects in North America to be able to diversify the feedstock for their refinery. It ended up being a great transaction in terms of their expertise in the downstream battery grade processing operations, and that allows us to focus on what we do best, which is resource extraction. So we do the resource extraction, we get it into a form of product that they're willing to purchase, and then they handle the downstream battery grade processing.
Many junior mining companies are having a problem really appealing to shareholders because they're nowhere near production. A lot of them are greenfield, they don't have enough water. I could go on and on about the problems with either hard rock lithium or lithium brine around the world, but you're removing all of that with your direct lithium extraction.
That's right. Developing this project over the last number of years, we've always tried to develop it very similar to a junior oil and gas company, which is focus on getting into production, focus on establishing revenues, and then that'll open up larger growth opportunities. And as well as by establishing those revenues, more organic growth opportunities as well, as we can start to leverage the revenue into growing out ourselves and seek additional financing to continue to scale operations. It is very typical in the mining industry to put together large feasibility studies and look at large capex numbers, because that's obviously where project economics look the best on paper. But in reality, those large capex numbers, it's difficult to secure the investment in tough price environments. We've stayed true to our strategy of let's get into production at a smaller scale and be able to grow production more organically, establish those revenues, and be able to scale up the project on a modular basis as capital becomes available, both our internal organic capital and then whatever external capital we decide to enter into as well.
What would you say to potential shareholders looking to add an energy-based or battery-based stock to their portfolio?
I think in terms of the Prairie Lithium project, we're ticking a lot of the boxes, if not all the boxes. We've got an indicated resource, very large resource, 4.6 million tons lithium carbonate equivalent in place underground. We ran an extensive drilling program in 2024 to confirm the production and disposal capacity of our resource to ensure that we can meet the criteria that we need to for production. So those wells are drilled and tested. We've been engaged in fabricating our first commercial scale DLE module over the course of 2025, and that commercial scale unit is set to arrive in early 2026 to our project. We've got the offtake in place, so we know where the product is going to go, and we're permitted for production. So we check pretty well all the boxes, in my opinion, in terms of de-risked resource. We understand the resource, we understand the process, and we understand where the product is going to go. So in terms of looking for a near-term producing company as the price of lithium recovers, I think our project is very well positioned in that aspect.
Well, Zach, that's a very positive outlook. Thank you so much for joining me today on the program. It's great to see you. I look forward to our next conversation.
Yeah, thank you. Likewise, Ellis. It was great to be back.
I've been speaking with Zach Maurer of Prairie Lithium, trading on the ASX under the symbol PL9 and in the US on the OTC as PLIXF. To learn more about the company's projects and its direct lithium extraction technology, visit prairielithium.com. I'm Ellis Martin, and you've been listening to the Ellis Martin Report on Money Talk Radio.